Yo, 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 what is going on, my beautiful brothers and sisters, fellow radiators of love? My name is Jamal Pope, aka J Phoenix, and this is going to be your astrology forecast for Wednesday, July 19th of 2023. Hope you guys are having a wonderful week so far, and I certainly appreciate your subscription, your viewership. If you aren't already subscribed, make sure to subscribe and hit that bell to receive all the notifications. I make daily astrology content as well as other stuff sprinkled in here and there. So, anyways, let's go ahead and hop right into it. Really, the major aspects for today have to do with the moon moving through Leo. So, today's video might actually be a little bit shorter than the usual one, right? Usually they go about like 25 to 30 minutes. So, if you're new, don't let that scare you. I go deep when I talk, even when I do these 25, 30-minute daily videos. We have that moon over here in Leo. Definitely wanting to bring about some, some positivity, some excitement, creativity, passion, wanting to explore, wanting to feel the love, Can you feel it? Can you feel the love? Nothing feels better than feeling the love. Anyways, if you know about that reference. Anyways, we're gonna have that moon. It's going to, by the time that you guys watch this video, the moon will have already conjuncted Chiron here at 15 degrees. So yes, wanting to communicate the love that we feel, wanting to communicate the creativity and passion that we feel. We also have to consider, though, with this energy that, this is the area that Venus is going to retrograde over. So I think it's interesting, Mercury and the moon have already passed the part where Venus is going to, you know, retrograde two. I think it's going to be 12 degrees of Leo. And I want to say it actually, I want to say that the day that Venus hit 28 degrees was the day that Mercury was actually at 12. And I kind of want to go back and look at that because I'm pretty sure, yeah, pretty much the day that Venus entered the degree that is going to retrograde at, Mercury had hit 12 degrees, which is the degree that Venus will station at direct. So I do think that's interesting. And that, of course, happened on, hey, look, it also happened on the day of the new moon on Monday. So, yeah. Anyways, back to the current moment, you know. So we're going to have that moon on top of Mercury at 15 degrees. You know, I think this is definitely has a very positive aspect. But of course, Mercury is definitely trying to figure out some things. We got like a bit of a tidbit, a bit of a preview into what the whole Venus retrograde is going to be about. Now that these energies meet up in Leo, it's definitely, and it's in the decan ruled by Jupiter. It's definitely going to be, this element where we really want to communicate, these passions, this creativity, the love, if you will. We really want to feel that. This is like, in many ways, we want to feel the fervor of life. We want to feel just the potency of life in general, right? Especially considering the fact that Jupiter is in the decan ruled by Mercury. So we have some cool mutual reception actually here between Jupiter and Mercury, right? They already did square each other, mind you, but we do have like that nice little energy that's going on. So there's definitely this. I think a lot of people are wanting to feel alive. You know what I mean? Like, I think this is one of those moments where we want to really feel like we're doing something, that we're moving towards something. When we want to feel the roar of life, we want to feel like there's something there. It's like, one thing that I've noticed too is that, like, and I think I talked about this before, it's like wherever you go to, like a grocery store or whatever like that, or Walmart or something, it's like it's all self checkout. There's like no human to human interaction anymore. Hardly. You just get in, get your stuff, and get out. You know what I mean? And like life has become like that. It's almost become sterile. You know what I mean? Like, can you kind of feel that way? Like how life has just kind of become sterile. You kind of just go. It's like society in general. It's just like get your stuff, get out. And where's the human to human interaction? Where's the love? Where are the hugs? Where's all that sort of stuff? Right? It's like people are afraid of each other. I think that's what the last 3 years did. It's like people are actually afraid of each other now, you know. and we really shouldn't be afraid of each other to that degree. I understand that some people are crazy, you know what I mean? But we really shouldn't be afraid of each other. So now, the other thing with this moon, of course, is that it will trine Chiron today. That will be happening at 19 degrees. So there's definitely, and is what's interesting too is that Chiron, being at that it's at 19 degrees, it's in the decan ruled by the sun, and then this is actually the degree that the sun, loves to be at the most, right? It reduces back to 1, which represents the sun. So and it's in its own decan. It'd be one thing too, of course, in Mars at 1 degrees, Sun does rule like number one, but with Chiron being in the decan ruled by the Sun, there's definitely being this call right now, especially with the moon having come off of this new moon, being that it's now it's in its waxing phase, right? And we got to consider, of course, that this new moon did square the nodes and did oppose Pluto. So there's definitely this element too when it comes to these energies where it's like we are really we are uncovering our superpowers. I think in many ways we are already aware of our shadow work that we have to do, traumas, our scarring. We are aware of all that stuff. There's been a hyper focus on sharing those aspects, I think, of ourselves. But I think really what this comes down to is that we have to embrace those superpowers. We have to embrace where we come from, even if we typically perceive it as something that is negative, we could turn that negative into a positive. So with this moon being that it's in the sign of Leo, it's in the decan ruled by Jupiter. So it definitely is wanting to bring a jovial kind of energy. It's definitely wanting to bring a hopeful kind of energy. The trining over to Chiron's like, hey, you can absolutely, especially now that the moon is, it's in its waxing phase, right? It's not even 30 degrees away from the sun yet, right? So this is sort of like, it's like that kind of sliver of hope right now. It's in that sliver of hope. So if you right now are feeling hopeless, if you're feeling like you are at the end of your rope on certain things and certain relationships, because it is Leo too, so that does come down to love and romance. There is a sliver of hope, believe it or not. There's a sliver of hope. And this trying to Chiron is saying that we can, in many ways, we can heal from the past, we can heal these woundings, and also realize that it is these wounds, these scars, that actually provide us the superpowers. Remember how I said, typically if you look at like just about any superhero origin story, it usually comes on the back of some sort of like trauma or traumatic event or something like that. And then they get their superpowers. You know what I mean? We're the same way. We get our powers through those moments, right? But there is a sliver of hope. You know what I mean? I think in many ways, a lot of us could be potentially feeling hopeless or feeling like, those of you who, are, light workers or stuff like that, light walkers, those of you that, make it a point to spread positivity, to be that beacon of light, we need to recharge our batteries as well. I think that's why it's very important for us to not give too much of ourselves. It's a very Six of Pentacles kind of thing. Right? We want to give so much of ourselves, but then we need to recharge our own batteries. But some of you guys are kind of at the edge of your road, wondering, like, should I continue doing this work? Because it doesn't seem like it's making an impact. It is, and there is a sliver of hope. Now, the reason why you're feeling that way is because it's going towards Black Moon Lilith. Now, Black Moon Lilith has all of the fears that Black Moon Lilith has traversed. It's already gone through them. You've already effaced those fears. Now it's just a bit of like a review period, if you will. Because what degree did Black Moon Lilith actually? Let's see. I want to see. Well, I guess I could just use this too, right? So if I go, I'm gonna go by weeks. I'm gonna go back and see. Okay, so it actually retrograded at 22 degrees. This was back in June. So this was back in June. So about a month ago, you know. Now, of course, oh, interesting. Look at this. The day that Black Moon Lilith retrograded is actually the day where Venus was at 15 degrees, which was the degree that Mercury it's the degree that Mercury and the moon will meet today is at 15 degrees. And I think it's also interesting that the moon is at 4 degrees as well, which is actually the degree that Palestine is at, and Mars. So interesting how that all works out. I'm not surprised though. Not surprised by that. So back to the present moment. Now, like I said, I'm going by day. Let's see. All right, switch that to hours. There you go. So yeah, that's the 19-degree trine that we have. Said Black Moon Lilith has already moved past that degree. It's at 24 degrees now. So any type of worries when it comes to this 19th degree, and as far as like how we can exalt ourselves, exalt our shine, exalt our presence, exalt the love that we have, exalt the love that we share, the love that we just simply radiate. We have already faced the fears of that particular degree and of that particular energy. Of course, we have the sun here at 26 degrees. It will trine actually Neptune today as well. So it'll start the trine later on in the evening. So we'll feel it later this evening, and then we'll feel it the first part of tomorrow, this trine with the sun and Neptune. Nice energy. Of course, like I said, Neptune is awake. So this is definitely going to be waking us up to if the new moon didn't already do it, but this will be another opportunity to kind of wake us up to emotions that we were feeling, and particularly about kind of like the world. The sun is in the decan ruled by Neptune. So, and not only that, but this is 2 + 7, which is 9. 9 in numerology is ruled by Mars, right? So we're going to be asking ourselves, all right, what are we going to do about the way that we feel about our situation, family, our home life, the world at large in many ways too. What are we going to do about these feelings? It's one thing to just have the feelings, but what are we actually going to do about it? Like I said, Neptune being retrograde is actually awake. So it's sort of like you may have like a dream that may make you feel a certain way. What are you going to do about it? Are you going to do anything about it? Was it just a dream? Was it just a dream? Or was it trying to tell you something? I generally like to think that dreams are trying to tell us something. Like in my dream, there was a lot of things that were happening, but I remember that there were some fires I was trying to put out. I also have these weird dreams, and I haven't played Call of Duty in a while, but it's like a Call of Duty like landscape, and I'm like actually like in the game, and I'm like running around and like shooting people. So that a little bit of that happened last night. Just interesting things, that kind of jumped all over the place. But it's funny too, the fire that I put out, it was a small fire, and then B, I didn't realize that I was potentially spraying other people. It was very weird. At the same time, you know how dreams can be. They can be austere and kind of way out there. But anyways, I digress. So yeah, we're gonna have that sun making the nice trine over to Neptune. We have a lot of trining energy today, and of course that moon is, being at 21 degrees. It does build up to a square with Uranus come the evening. So around 9:34 in the evening, you're going to get that square with the moon to Uranus, right? Now, this is an interesting energy. Being that it's 22 degrees, is definitely going to call into questioning our belonging and the reflection. So the moon being in this decan ruled by Mars, Uranus being in this decan ruled by Saturn. And I think it's interesting how Mars and Saturn, were these decans that, the moon is in and Uranus in are respectively. Mars and Saturn are getting ready to oppose. I mean, they pretty much already are opposed. They're less than a degree apart. They're less than a degree from opposing. So this is like, okay, how do we feel? And like, how do we feel, especially when it comes to passion, creativity, love, romance? How do we feel about these things when it comes to the wild card energy that Uranus is putting when it comes to the foundation of our society, right? And do we feel like it's a vibrational match? Do we feel like the society that we have created, right? Do we feel like even just the base of it, do we feel like it reflects the love that we can have for ourselves and for each other? No, I don't think it does, personally. I can just go ahead and say that right now. That's my opinion. I don't think it does. I don't think it allows for people to really express that version of themselves, because they have to, people have to suppress it in many ways, right? In order to do what you got to do. But that's the thing. All of this stuff is already breaking apart because of Pluto and Capricorn. So now we got to talk about the whole, Mars getting ready to oppose Saturn thing. This is one of those oppositions that I actually don't see as a bad thing. I really don't. And generally, when you get oppositions, it's definitely sort of like a battle. But this is like two mafia bosses, essentially. You know what I mean? Saturn is kind of like the mafia boss that's like kind of been in the game for a little bit. Mars, the mafia boss, is kind of new. That's kind of get that kind of recently got into it, and they kind of go head to head, and it's sort of like a pissing match. It's not even like a serious all-out brawl. I don't see this as like a turf war or anything like that. It's sort of like a pissing match. It's almost like Saturn is kind of challenging Mars in many ways, almost sort of like an initiation, like a mock battle to see, like, all right, so now that you've done this mock battle and you've proven yourself, you know, I can almost sort of take you under my wing. That's kind of the energy I'm getting from this. And it's interesting too, they will oppose each other at 6 degrees. Six, numerology is ruled by Venus. So a lot of things are coming back to Venus as well. And Venus is about to retrograde. So we are really about to see, come Saturday until September 3rd, a lot of drama is about to spark off. A lot of things are about to kick off for real. And it's going to be very intense. You're definitely going to feel alive if you've been feeling kind of just like going from one thing to another and kind of being like a drone, whatever. Things are definitely about to kick off. You know what I mean? I was watching this anime last night. It's one of the new ones for this summer season, and the premise of it is hilarious. This guy essentially he starts working at a job, so it's like his first job out of college, right? Super excited, right? Super impressionable and just ready to go get it. And first day, of course, he ends up falling in love with this one chick that he accidentally bumps into, typical anime shit. And fast forward a couple years later, and dude is miserable. It's the job that exploits him. It's called like Psalm 100 bucket list or something like that. Really cool, actually. It's on Crunchyroll. I definitely recommend it. But because so essentially, fast forward, he is depressed, overworked, pretty much like lives at the office half of the week, and lives in like a deplorable state where he has like bags of trash around him and empty cans and empty food containers, and his life is miserable. The chick that he has a major crush on is fucking the boss. She's his mistress. Like, it's messed up, and somehow he's still going. And you know what freaking happens? You know what random thing happens in all this? A zombie apocalypse. That's the random wrench that's thrown into it. And you know what he's like? He is thrilled for the zombie apocalypse. Why? Because he doesn't have to go to work anymore. That's literally the premise of the show. And then he's going to fulfill this bucket list that he kind of writes out. I'm only on episode 1. I'm going to watch the second episode today. I thought that was like hilarious. Now, that kind of there's kind of a bit of that energy to this. Some of you guys have been kind of doing the same thing, been kind of like tick-tocking along, and there's going to be some sort of random wrench thrown into it, and it's going to make you, and like, it's going to be a wrench that you would think that'd be like, oh crap, now I got to deal with this thing. And it's going to be like, hey, my situation has changed. I don't have to worry about this other thing anymore. It's like he took that situation and he alchemized it and had like a different perspective on it. For him, a zombie apocalypse means not going to a job that he hates and drains him of his life force. Crazy how that works, right? There's going to be an element of that to today. I feel there's just an element of that in general right now. I'm not saying it's a zombie apocalypse. I'm just saying that that's like there's going to be something there's going to be a random wrench kind of thrown in. And I think that this is more going to be like an emotion, something that we feel, and like how we can actually feel different about a situation and feel like we don't necessarily have to belong to that situation or mirror the way it is. Shoot, you can bring the party to whatever monotonous, mundane area that you may feel like you are involved in. You can bring the party there if you want to as well. So, of course, by the end of the day, the moon, it's more of like a tomorrow aspect where the moon actually will meet up with Black Moon Lilith. So, but yeah, let's go ahead and get the cards for today. Go ahead and get cards for today. But yeah, like I said, the major things today, obviously, like that moon in Leo is going to be triggering trines, squares. We have the Mars Saturn opposition that's building up as well. So what I like about the Mars opposed, what I like about this Mars opposed Saturn is too, and I'll talk about this a little bit tomorrow as well, is that like I said, I feel like it's like a teaching moment for Saturn to Mars. That's what I feel like it is. It really does give me the energy of a young student in many ways that has always done things a certain way and it happened to work out. And then Saturn Pisces is like the old sage trying to get Mars to loosen up a little bit. You know what I mean? So, all right. So the cards that we have for today. And whenever I get a bunch of cards that are reversed, that means I can typically read them upright. I got the High Priestess in reverse. I got the Three of Swords in reverse. And then, of course, I have the Two of Wands in reverse. Interesting. So the High Priestess in reverse, this is definitely a card where it's like, we want to just, being that is reversed, this card is usually about intuition, but being that is reversed, our intuition may be a little bit off today. I think this really just comes from a shifting of perspective. And you see the moon there, right? There is still a sliver of hope. So I think this comes down to like, whatever particular path we have been down as far as like emotionally trying to trust our intuition. And if we feel like we've been following our gut and our gut's been turning out wrong, you know what I mean? You're not following your gut. I will go ahead and say that. So we have to just pretty much alter our perspective on this. Now we have the Three of Swords here, right? And it's this one, it's reversed and it's piercing this flower. But look at these people. Don't they look like Matrix agents? Don't they look like agents of the Matrix? It's reversed. So I think there's like this fear that these agents of the Matrix are going to come and kill our dreams and kill our love, right? It's reversed. So it's not going to actually happen, right? You can't be afraid to do that. And here's the thing too. Not everyone's going to love you. Not everyone's going to accept you. It's impossible and it's unrealistic to think that. You know what I mean? So this Three of Swords, for me, what it's saying like to express who you are and express the love that you have, regardless of who you may feel like may come for you. Like I said, they seriously look like agents of the Matrix. You know what I mean? Like the movie The Matrix and stuff. And there's like this fear that they're going to come after you if you really start to express your creativity and express your truth and really put your authenticity out there. Now, we also have the Two of Wands in reverse too. So, yeah, there's definitely this point where we're trying to figure out what path to go. What I like about this one, though, is that the wands are actually like a bit of like a portal. It's like a gate, and he's walking through it. You know what I mean? You can even see here, like he's all dressed up. He's looking good. He's confident, and he's walking through. Right? It's not necessarily, it's showing from a different angle. There could very well be two paths, you know what I mean? But it's showing it from a different perspective instead of from like behind him. It's showing him from the front, and he's walking through a portal. So it's like he's already made his decision, right? It is reversed. So like I said, the decision has already been made, right? It's asking you to really express your creativity today, and don't be afraid if the matrix comes for you, right? We all have had heartbreak in our life. We all have experienced heartaches in our life, right? But that doesn't mean that we can't move forward, right? And this high priestess was sort of like, what I'm saying is, what I'm actually getting from this high priestess card is not necessarily an intuition thing. I think it's more so of like a, hey, you remember when you did that in the past and it didn't work out? Yeah, what if it happens again? I think this is going to be more like a doubt thing. It's like, hey, you remember when you tried to do that in the past? You remember when you tried to express yourself that way in the past and it didn't work out? Yeah, remember that. You know, and that's why we get this callback to the Three of Swords, where it's like we start to wonder about our wounding. That's the moon shining over the Chiron aspect, right? And then you get this Two of Wands energy, where it's like, yeah, we actually decide to move forward, and we just straighten ourselves up. We move forward with confidence, with confidence, with courage, with bravery, and we move forward into something new. Bottom of the deck, we do have the Eight of Wands. It's also reversed. Like I said, whenever I get all reverse cards, I can read it both ways. So Eight of Wands, yeah, rapid development. Things are moving forward. I think it's cool too because this guy is like, he's training. It's taken him a while to get to the point where he can lift his leg up in that way. So there's definitely this element where things can pick up and things will start to move, even though a lot of energies are slowing down. Even though we're about to be in retrograde city for real. You know, and sometimes it kind of can feel like things are developing slow, but at the same time, things are developing fast. We got to think that, and it's like an as above, so below, as within, so without. So it's like where things are happening here, are happening on other realms of reality as well. But also the opposite is true. Like if things seemingly are moving slow, things are moving fast in other aspects. So that's the thing that we have to consider. You'd be surprised. You know what I mean? This is the sort of energy that's building up for things to go viral, for things to just spark off, for things to just come out of nowhere. That's where the energy is building to. It doesn't really feel like it. It feels like you could be biding your time. Look, this video still ended up going 30 minutes because I like to ramble. It can feel like you're biding your time. It can feel like things are moving slowly and stuff like that. And you're wanting things to sort of kick off, and they will. It just takes a little bit. Definitely don't be afraid to trust again. Don't be afraid to put yourself out there again. Because these so-called agents of the Matrix, you feel like they may come for you. Don't worry about them. Do you, boo? In fact, we got the card of embracing enthusiasm. Shout to the heavens with happiness. Embrace enthusiasm. Embrace the love for life. Embrace, be excited, be happy, just be grateful. These things are all super important. But yeah, even in the midst of all of it, just like be almost obnoxious about it, where people look at you as like, what in the world is wrong with him? Like, it's like, if you can be obnoxious about it, you kind of just like poke a small little hole in the fog that's around them. And they may look at you like you're crazy, but I promise you, they won't forget you. I promise you, they will remember you. And now they'll be in their subconscious. That little seed of light will be in their subconscious. And they'll be like, oh, that person, they're a little crazy. They're going to go home and talk to their spouse about it. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the thing. Like, that's the kind of effect that we can have on people. You know what I mean? So, yeah, embracing enthusiasm. I love that. I think it's a beautiful card. I think it's something that we definitely need to have, especially considering that all of these cards are reversed, where it's like we're worried about certain paths we took in the past, we're worried about certain heartbreaks in the past, and we were worried about certain intuitions that we had in the past that may have led to a less than desirable place. Well, embrace enthusiasm because you can still move forward. And, just because something didn't work out in the past doesn't mean that it can't work out in the future. And you have changed and you have grown and you have evolved since then. So it's not like you're going to do it exactly the way that you did before. So take solace in that. That is going to do it for your astrology forecast today. I hope that you all enjoyed it. If you did, please like, share, and subscribe. I definitely appreciate it. If you'd like a personal reading with me, beloved, you can follow the link in the description below too. my website, jphoenix.com. And I did make a podcast episode last night, so y'all be sure to check it out. You just go to like my main page, click on the live tab, and you'll see like my live there. And yeah, so that was pretty cool. And I think that's it for today. So y'all take care, stay blessed, have a wonderful day. I'll see you guys on Thursday's astrology forecast. Peace out. Bye bye. Apparently with sayonara, it's like the formal way of saying goodbye in Japan, and like they almost like never say that. And like the informal way apparently is bye bye. So yeah. Bye bye.